So I created a post about if I had a niche for my business, that it would be women with O blood type. And this was a download I had gotten from my own body. I don't know, a month. And so, you know, because when you start offering your work, the idea of a niche always seems to come up, and I really have struggled. Clearly I pertain to women more, but I've really struggled with giving a fuck about a niche, and it's just not something that I really care to. I don't care. I don't want boxes, right? And I get the most information when I'm driving. I'm sitting in my car, and I know a lot of people like this, and I have found that like sitting in my car and driving, or not even driving, like just sitting in my car in a parking lot, and it's just like the most meditative. I receive so much information. And just to throw this out there, you know, when you're in your car, it is a meditative, it's a hypnotic process for your conscious mind, because of the sounds of the tires hitting the road, of this constant movement. And so it allows your conscious mind to silence a little bit and allows your subconscious out. So this is, again, why it's so important to pay attention to what you're listening to when you're in the car as well, because it's most likely accessing your subconscious, and that's where belief patterns and things are actually rooted more fully into the body. But I was in my car, and I was just realizing, like, I had this like knowing, like, oh, and I'm an O blood type, and I was like, I create things. I create experiences, I create spaces, I create period, for women that have a specific kind of blood, specifically O blood types, because I create experiences that my blood type wants to experience, and that I want to experience, and I know that other women want to experience. And I was contemplating on this a lot, and so much information came through, and I wrote it down, and I'll see if I can tap back into the channel again. But this information filled me up with such like those aha moments, like whoa. And I was thinking about the letter O. I was contemplating the letter O, and I was like, the original. And the letter O, or the O blood type, is like the most abundant blood type in humans. And I'm like, we are the original blood type. And then once I had that realization, that like remembrance in my body, all this other information about that original blood type is the authority here on earth. We get to say what is built and what is destroyed. And it is through our movements, and it is through our actions, and it is through our thoughts, and it is through this genetic makeup, this information, because all the DNA has information, right? And it is through, hold on, I need to take my socks off. It is through all of that our DNA holds authority here on this earth plane. It is like written in our blood. that we are the commanders of this plane. So how interesting that it is a lot of these fear tactics, mind, whatever, all the mind games, all the hypnosis techniques that they use on humans, are aimed at O blood types. Because it's easier, like our safety, we need safety. We exist in the lower frequency, but it's not evil. It's not evil here. This is not hell. We forgot our power in our authority of this realm. And I really truly feel like what I have created and what I'm continuing to create and what I feel in my body is here to remind those primal senses are not evil. It's literally what the fuck creates this whole world around us. And I'm here to wake that up specifically in women. I'm here to turn that DNA, that part of us back on, that ancient, I feel like it's so ancient. I feel like the way that humanity births children and the way that we get to like enjoy food and the way that we get to like feel water on our skin and like what that feels like and like grass on our feet, I feel like it's so ancient. It is the original. Like we are the original, and like we hold the most information about how to flip this fucking world back to where it was originally, back to how humanity used to exist. And it's in our blood that these codings, that this information, the map, the blueprint, all of it is written. But if we don't know how to access our bodies, like this is the shit that we're doing in the womb gathering. If we do not know how to access our bodies, we do not get to read our bodies. Our bodies are a book. Everybody's DNA, to me, everybody's body is a temple of information. And if we're so scared to access it, if we're so, have all this trauma and this and that and keeping us out of it, we don't get to build what the fuck we came here to build. And I realize what I am creating allows the O blood type woman to remember who she is. Because I have found that humans with a womb, women, hold the Garden of Eden. And when we remember what our desires are, and when our basic needs are met fully, when our basic, like I'm not even talking about, when I talk about your basic needs being met, I'm not even saying like, I feel like in America we have this idea that our basic needs are met. And yes, they are, right? Like logistically they are. But truly? Like really? Like real? No. Mm-mm. And we don't, the food that we eat, most people don't even know they're eating crap, like what they're eating is not food, first off. Most people aren't drinking like mineral rich water. Most people aren't breathing pristine air. We live in, like, even if you're in the country, you're inhaling like whatever the fuck they're spraying all over the farms. So our basic needs aren't being met fully, right? I will say, I won't go down that rabbit hole. And so the O blood type is being targeted because we know that we need earth. Our body knows that we need earth. And we live we are from here. This is our home. And that can take you down your own rabbit hole about the other blood types. But, which could be a fun conversation too. But I have found, for me, in my body, that when I take care of my home, and it's and it's a space that I actually want to be in, I don't need a vacation to get away from my life. When I support my body with mineral-rich water, when I eat real foods, when I eat meat, when I am in relationship with the life and death cycle, and when I am in community with men and women that that desire and find the importance of those basic needs being met fully and completely and really, I am then able to build a thriving world for myself and everybody around me. And so I can't help but wonder, and I'm getting chills thinking about this now, I can't help but wonder what the fuck would happen if more O blood types woke up to the fact that how powerful they are, and that they are the authority of this world. And I do want to say that this is not to say that we're not in a relationship with God. If anything, it's the very opposite. Because it is in our blood type that we realize that God is through everything. It's through everything. I don't need to go to a building to experience God. I don't need to go to another human, like another, priest or whatever the fuck you want to call pastor, all these things. I don't need that to have a relationship with God. And I have found that so many O blood types they operate more in their primal instinctual essence. But that does not mean that you are a savage, and that does not mean that you are the devil, and that doesn't... They tricked you. They tricked you. They tricked us for many, many years, for many generations. And I am really waking up to the fact of who the fuck I am, and how powerful, and how I have a relationship with God in a way that most people cannot even comprehend. And I don't even need to prove it. And I don't even need to... I talk about it because it feels good, but I don't need to. And the wind's gonna keep going, right? Because it's like, that's God. And come on, wind. Come on. Keep going. I have experienced things that most people would... The elements of this earth. God runs through it all. We need earth. The O blood types need earth, and we need these primal aspects of ourselves to be reawakened and remembered in order to build, because that's foundational. We are the foundation of this. We command it. We are the foundation. We are what everything sits on. How exciting. And I've realized that this is what I've been offering to our community in the womb gatherings. And and this is not to say that every woman that comes through that door is an O blood type. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is that what I am offering is for O blood types, and it's a system that we get to step into that's like ancient. It's a system that we get to step into to remember like how our ancestors were existing. And we get to build with what we have now, with the resources we have now. And one thing I said to a client a couple weeks ago is in tracking survival school, earth skills school, which that was another thing that I realized helped me to feel more safe on earth, is learning earth skills, so that I could feel safer in my body, so that I actually knew how to exist on earth with, like learning how to build a shelter, learning how to start fire, learning how to feed myself, learning how to ID plants, learning how to hunt, learning how to filter water, so I know that we need, in tracker school, the 4 basic needs need to be met. And I've kind of added the 5th one, but the 4 is like food, shelter, water, fire. All right, so we need those things as humans. And the 5th one, I've realized, is community. It's other humans. And we can exist with, just the 4, but the 5th one is what really, that I added, is what really is getting me, is what I'm honing in on, because I don't necessarily have control over what they're spraying into the air and what they're spraying on our land and what they're putting in the food and the water, and I don't have control over giving everybody loving homes, and I don't necessarily have control over I don't have control over those things for the world, but what I can do is create community. And when we create community, we can start to shift those other 4, right? And what the fuck's the point of the other 4 without community, right? Like, the reason we want great water and great food and beautiful shelters that feel good to be in, that are in harmony with, nature, of course it's for ourselves, but it's so that we can enjoy it with the people that we love. And when it comes down to me, I love to build foundations for other things to exist on, for more. And these flies are awful. It's fly energy, man. Trying to keep me out of it. So I have realized that it is through us, it is through the body that we get to have any of this, right? Because if we're dead, we don't have a body and we move on, right? It is through the body that we build. It is through the body that we experience community. It's through the body that we experience fire. It's through the body that we experience our shelter. We experience our surroundings, our ecosystems, the animals, everything, right? It's through the body that we get to be here. And the blood that we hold matters in our role here. And I have found also through Chakra School that if we don't have a role in this life on earth, it's very easy to manipulate us, because we're constantly trying to find ourselves. And if our instinctual roles are taken from us, it's just energetics, right? Like, if O blood type can't do what they're meant to do, and they're placed in an office, whose world are they building? They're not building a world for humans. They're building a world for someone else, something else. O blood types need organic material. They need it. I really think all humans need it. Like, if you're in a human vessel, you need it. If you're on Earth, you need it. But O blood types need organic material. They need to be grounding themselves. They need to be building. They need to use their voices to command, to remember their authority. But at the same time, we have to be in our bodies to be able to utilize this power in a way that's in benefit for all. Because I have found that the more that I do that is in benefit for myself first, the earth, and the community, everything fucking flows so effortlessly, like with ease, because the earth and the universe, all of it, God is supporting me, because I'm living my book, my temple, my bodies. I am the lived experience, and I am living exactly as my book reads. And like, I love that people find solace in, like, you know, the Bible and all these like holy books, whatever it may be, like the Quran, all of it, right? Like, I think it's all so beautiful in its own way, but like, what's you? What's your blood saying? What's your lineage saying? What are your ancestors saying through you? And I want to know that. And that's what I want to know in these spaces with the womb gathering, is I desire to learn other people's, I love information. And I also love the body. And then when I figured out within my own self that like my body holds its own information, I'm like, oh, like a whole world opened up to me. Because then I'm like, that means your information and your information. And what a beautiful world this could be. It is beautiful. What a beautiful, thriving world we could all live in together if we just remembered our roles and realized that we are being targeted to stay in a certain frequency. And how can we start to realize, like, I have now found that, to give example, when COVID happened, I was so grateful that we had just bought our house in the country, and we had like acres to ourselves. It was beautiful and it was great. But there was also this sense of urgency within myself that I'm like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to survive on my own. And it brought up a lot of fear. And there was a part of me that was like super grounded and calm, but there was a part of me that was freaking the fuck out. And it wasn't necessarily, I wasn't necessarily freaking out about like getting sick or any of that. I was freaking out about the system shutting down and me not knowing how to feed myself, and me not knowing how to find water, and me not knowing, how to build a shelter and how to, all that, right? And I realized, oh, okay, I'll get the chickens, I'll get the rabbits for fur, and I will get in the eggs, and I will get this, and I'll get that. And so I started creating like a little micro homestead. And then I started gardening more, and I was already doing some of these things before, but then I really honed in on it, and I like created a little system of like, what do I need to grow and how do I need to grow in order to make sure that we are good for a whole year of a family of 4. And I did figure it out, even though I didn't implement it all the way. And then I went to tracker school, and tracker school is what taught me like the primitive earth skills. And so this is before farming and agriculture, right? And then that gave me the skills of like the real skills of this earth. I had never felt so safe in my body. I had been to therapy for years, and I had been to somatic things, and I did yoga teacher training, and I did this, and I did that, and If you are an O blood type, you need to get to your primal senses, because nothing, and I think this goes for all humanity really, but it's specifically blood type. If you do not tap into your primal senses and make sure that they are well cared for, you cannot build a world that is of like, you will never feel safe. You just won't. You need to know how to take care of yourself in a real way. Your body knows if you don't know how to hunt. Maybe some of you have seen this video before. Your body will literally hold on weight because it knows you do not know how to find food. Your body knows what you do not know. And if you're an O blood type, I beg you, you will feel so, I've never felt so safe. I realize I could go out into that fucking forest, that woodland, and luckily we don't have like grizzly bears and things around here where I live, but because I don't know. We specifically learned earth skills. We specifically learned earth skills of the East Coast. So, but I knew when I came home, I could walk into that woodland in the middle of the night and be safe. What a freeing, how freeing. I knew that all the systems could dissolve and I would be okay. And so that was the energy that I decided to build on. It's like, now I know how to meet my most basic needs really well. And until I figured that out, I couldn't. And then now I get to build a community around it in a more energetic way. So I'm not necessarily teaching like earth skill classes and stuff, although I highly suggest discovering that. Every now and then I'll teach like small things because I don't necessarily practice all of it, although it would be cool to practice with others. But this is like the foundational shit that I needed in order to move forward. I was starting all up here and I had nothing down here. And all of this has nowhere to land if we have nothing down here. We're all trying to build this like new world and all these like, but nobody wants to get into their body, and nobody wants to fucking build a foundation. Nobody wants to deal with like the real shit, the real things of living here. Like we don't even know what plants we can and can't eat, or how to identify it without going to a fucking grocery store. And yet, or how to find water, clean water, or filter water. Good luck finding clean water anywhere. Unless, I'm sure there is, but like, good luck. And like, we want to act like we're outside of the elemental system, and we're not. We need to learn to work with the elements and understand how to have relationship with them so that we can actually like move on from this like well, I keep trying to create this thing, and then if it... we need to come all the way back down to go back up. And I think it's all beautiful. I think that the fact that a lot of us started in the ethers, and you know, we had to figure out our way how to come back into the body. So it's like, you know, for me, like a lot of things in my childhood kept me out of my body, and then although there was a part of me that was still very connected to my body, but I knew that I was not existing fully in my body for a very long time. And I'm just saying that the primal energetics is something that's like the life force to it all. It's what powers it all. And if we're too scared to get in the body, then we can't, like, it's like trying to fucking try to charge your phone and there's nowhere to plug it in. There's no electricity. Like, you need to access the information in your body, in your primal senses, and make sure that your primal needs are met really, really well. And like, if everything is not going okay in life, like quality of water, quality of food, quality of air, quality of your shelter, quality of your relationships, those things matter. They fucking matter. They matter so much. And it's literally how everything here exists. And I'm just so tired of seeing everybody walking around acting like none of it matters. Like we're so disconnected from it. Like, we don't even know that there's just so... Do you know there are so many yoga teachers that don't even walk on the ground? Like, they won't put their bare feet on the earth. I think it's like, I invite you to return to earth. I invite you, because like, I don't understand how you can even teach energetics and not be a part of the earth. I don't understand it. I guess if it's just a workout to you, but that's not what all of this is. O blood type. Interesting enough, my mom is an O blood type, so I find it interesting that the next womb gathering is all about our mother lineage. And so that's where I get my O blood type from, because my dad is actually an A. And it's interesting to see, to observe their relationship with Earth and with others.